Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to Property in Africa with Sithebe Manake. Today, we're going to be talking about how to start a property development or how to get a successful property development. Let's start here. Before you go into a property development, you probably have a piece of land somewhere that you have identified and you want to be able to extract maximum value out of it. So the key thing is to make sure that you develop something that will be successful or something that is suitable for that particular location. So there are two things that you need to do. You can do a feasibility study. So the first thing, forget about the two things. The first thing that you need to do is a feasibility study. So it doesn't matter if you have an idea of what you want to develop there, or if you don't have an idea of what you want to develop there, you have to start with a feasibility study. What a feasibility study does is it helps you understand what is the most suitable development that you can put on that particular property. So when a feasibility study is done, you look at the particular plot, its plot size, you look at the legislation around it, the kind of zoning that it has, and then you go around, you look at its um, captive area. Okay, a captive area is you look at a certain radius around that particular property. Sometimes it's 5 kilometers, sometimes it's 10 kilometers, depending on the kind of development that has been identified for that particular area. So the best is to look around 5 kilometers around radius around the particular plot, and then you look and then you do a an assessment of household income in that area. You do an assessment. So an assessment of household income will tell you how much do people earn in that particular area? What do they spend on, right? What are the key things that are important to them, right? What is their demographic? How old are they? How long have they lived there? So these are the key things that you get when you do um, the, the the analysis of the catchment area, right? So after we do the analysis, after you do the analysis of the catchment area, you have to identify what is missing within that particular area. What are the development? What other developments are there that give your particular development competition? Are there other shopping malls? How are they performing? What is the foot traffic of those shopping malls? What kind of shops are there? And are they willing to come to your center? How are they performing? Which shops need to get into that particular area? And then once you identify if it's a shopping mall that you want to build, if it's a school, what are the other schools that are there? So if it's a nursery, are there other nurseries in that particular within that particular 5 kilometer radius? How are they performing? How many kids do they have? How do they charge their school fees? And what are their operating expenses? And what is their turnover, what are the costs of expenses, things like that. So that is if you're building a nursery school. If you're building a hotel, what kind of hotels are there? And a hotel, you can go as far wide as maybe even 10 kilometers to look at what are the competing hotels with you that are there. How many stars do they have? What are the facilities that they have? How much do they charge their room rates? How many rooms do they have? Normally that's called keys. How many keys do they have? What other facilities do they have? And then you look at their occupancy rates, look at their vacancy rates. Do they have a bar? Do they have a conference facility? How do those perform? So when you look at those things, then they sort of give you an indication of how much every particular development is going to perform in that area. If you're thinking about a commercial development, or a commercial development in this case, I mean an office, how many offices are in that particular area? Do you have people that are working in that particular area? Do you have companies that want to be occupying offices in in the area in which your plot is in? And what are the feeders that give you that give your plot particular advantage? So it is very, very important before you decide what you're going to build on your plot, um, to know what are the dynamics that surround your particular plot. What is the population that is in your area? So first things first, before you decide what to develop in a property, what to develop in your plot, is for you to have a feasibility study done. Feasibility studies are generally they vary in cost because of the kind of detail that the developer needs to, or that your consultant that is doing the feasibility is supposed to go into. So if it's a shopping mall, like I said, the radius could be higher. If it's a hotel, the radius could be higher. For multi-residential property or student accommodation, the radius is your 5 kilometers because there's an issue of how do the students get to school, and can they walk to the residence. If it's multi-residential, your target market, how much do they earn, do they drive, is there public transport near them? So these are things that you look at when you're doing a feasibility study. And thank you so much. So what you must understand is, what do you need to do to develop your plot? Thank you. Have a good day, and see you soon.